Good day all. Welcome to our social sciences lesson. So today we're looking at climate and vegetation around the world. In fact, we're exploring hot deserts a little bit more. We're also looking at the natural vegetation and wildlife that call these hot deserts home. Now that we've spoken about hot deserts, you must remember what the climate is like in hot deserts. So, due to the very little rain that occurs in these deserts, we said less than 250 millimeters of rain yearly, plants and animals that grow in these deserts can live without lots of water. So, let's look at the plants firstly. These plants tend to survive with very little water. How do they survive? So, some plants found in these hot deserts have long roots, and their roots actually go in search of water. Some plants are able to store water in their leaves and their stem for when they are in need of water. Some plants are also so tactful that they have poisonous stems, and these poisonous stems prevents them from being eaten. So not only are they able to survive without water, but these plants are able to protect themselves from being eaten. Now, one particular plant that we'd like to focus on in a hot desert is the barrel cactus. The barrel cactus is mostly found in American deserts, particularly in the Mojave Desert, which we said was one of the hot deserts of the world. It is barrel shaped and hence the name the barrel cactus. Now, of course, a cactus, like any other cactus, can survive for a long period of time without water. The reason for that is because a cactus is able to store the water. Now, Americans who actually call these desert areas home, they use the water from the spikes of the barrel cactus in order to get water for themselves. So that's how we see how both plants like the barrel cactus and people thrive and live in a desert area. Now that we know a little bit more, not only are the plants surviving and living in these hot deserts, but the animals too. The animals living in a desert have found a way to escape the extremely hot weather. So they escape the hot rays of the sun. They do this by digging holes in the ground, and then they rest in these cool holes until it gets dark, or even when it is dark and hot. Now, one type of camel, because we talked about this previously and we said camels are often found in the deserts, they transport people through the deserts, and they are most suitable to live in deserts. So one such camel that we do find in the hot deserts is the one-humped camel. So mostly in the Arabian deserts do we find this one-humped camel. This one-humped camel stores its fat in its hump, so therefore it can stay without water for a few days. Another feature of this camel is it has a tough mouth that enables it to eat the thorny plants that are often found in the desert. Now, we also get a two-humped camel. The two-humped camel, however, is more well suited not to live in a hot desert, but rather in the colder regions, so in the colder desert regions. Now, another such animal that we find in hot deserts, particularly in the Kalahari deserts, are the meerkats. Meerkats are cute, aren't they? Well, they also have claws that enable them to dig for insects that they choose to eat. Meerkats also like to stay close together in groups, and the reason for that is so that they can alert each other if there's any chance of danger or if they feel that their lives are in danger. Looking a little bit more, we also know that people choose to call the desert homes. But how are people able to survive in this extremely hot climate? Well, it is not at all easy for people to live in the desert or in desert regions. People who choose to live in deserts are usually called nomads. Their lifestyles allow them to move easily from one place to another. If you recall a previous lesson, we did say that nomads travel from one place to another in search of food, and they live in tents, so it's easy for them to move from one place to another. They also move from one place to another in search of water as well as grazing animals. Now that you know a little bit more about the vegetation as well as the animals and people that we find in hot deserts, let's look at the Sahara Desert. Watch the video below and see how much you can learn about this wonderful hot desert.
The Sahara Desert, located on the African continent, is the largest hot desert in the world. The enormous Sahara spans over 11 countries, including Algeria, Egypt, Libya, Mali, and Niger. It covers over 9.2 million square kilometers, roughly the size of the United States of America, amounting to 31% of Africa. The chief landforms of the Sahara Desert include dunes, hamada, regs, ergs, salt flats, and oases. The Sahara has only two permanent rivers, the Nile and the Niger. But it has a substantial amount of aquifers and a handful of lakes. The temperature during the summer months can exceed 50 degrees Celsius, and during the cold season, the average temperature is approximately 13 degrees Celsius. The central part of the Sahara receives an average of less than 1 inch of rain per year. Other parts receive an average of up to 4 inches of annual rainfall. But this wasn't always the case. Archaeological and geological research shows that the entire Sahara was once green. This period between 11,500 and 5,000 years is called the African Humid Period. Oldest rock arts that are 8,000 years old show a time when Sahara was much greener and wetter than today. Despite the harsh, arid conditions of the present time, several plants like doom palm tree, Leparin's olive tree, peyote cactus, lovegrass, and animals like dromedary camels, dorKk gazelle, Saharan horned viper, ostrich, monitor lizard, and deathstalker scorpion, call the region home. Sahara's entire human population equals less than 2 million. These people are mostly nomads. Did you know that the Amazon rainforest depends on the Sahara for its very survival? The Sahara's sand gets carried by the wind power, crosses the Atlantic Ocean, and gets deposited in South America. The sand particles pick up moisture during their journey, and bring rain along with them. This rain and dust fall on the Amazon rainforest, fertilizing it with phosphorus, and providing the water that it needs. Without Sahara, the Amazon rainforest could be potentially destroyed. Due to climate change, the Sahara Desert has grown nearly 10% since 1920. Approximately 1/3 of the desert's expansion was due to human-made climate change. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization estimates that by 2030, Africa will lose 2/3 of its arable land, if the march of desertification is not stopped.